woke up this morning, the sky was gray. Another storm, another endless day.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Manon Doucet. I'm a published author. I've been teaching with Sudowrite for a fairly long time, more than 2 years. Always looking for the date, but not important. Important is that we are here and we're going to be writing together and have fun to do so. So it's quick start on memoir. Not really. It's a deep dive. So this class is basically for people which know how to use Sudowrite, but it's 3 days together. I will try to go slow and show slowly to wherever I'm going inside the Sudowrite so we can all follow together. So now that little spiel of the housekeeping. So to align with the new rules of Sudowrite, because the video goes on YouTube, it's required to remove the face and camera from the video as much as possible. So that's why you only see the name and no face on top. During the class, I will be very happy to answer your question. In the chat, if you have a question, put the word question in big letters before your question, so it will be easy for me to find it. The video that I'm recording right now, I'm normally very quick. At the end of the session, it's going to upload to my computer. I go and do my little editing, and I upload it on my YouTube, and I upload it onto the Google Drive for Sudowrite. Sudowrite, sometimes it can take up to 2 weeks, but in my YouTube is going to be there by the weekend. Everything will be uploaded. I will give you a document to share, and that document is going to be updating for the whole 3 days, and you'll find the YouTube video attachment to it. Okay. I need to find this now. Just give me a second. X. Bringing you, okay. This is part of what we do when we do memoir. Memoir is, if unless you do your memoir for yourself, you may have that, what I say, a research on the person you're doing or writing the memoir for. So this is why this part here, I'm saying, bring your work in progress inside the Sudowrite. There is classes that I made in the past. They're also on my YouTube channel on how to do it. Tomorrow, if it's not today, I will show you how to bring your research, text, everything you have that you want to do about memoir. Yeah. So people have to understand the right refresher. We will learn. So the big question, welcome for the overview, capability, plain session, structure, the key take, interesting. You can tell I have all my things done in advance. So in this class, we're going to have the fundamental for the advanced work, how to import your work, how to understand how to work with Sudowrite, and the basic editing, which is very important. With more advanced topic for experienced user, we're going to also using the rewriting, expand, draft, enhancing the dialogue, using the AI to assist in completing our unfinished or finished work, fixing it. We're going to everything to have a hands-on structure, live troubleshooting, and we're going, obviously, it's tailored for our memoir. Guidance, there we go. Importing organization, research, and manuscript. All right, let's switch this to sharing our program here. Okay, so now we are on our page. Everyone see this? I'm going to move that over. So this is our pseudo class that, like I said, we had a bit of problem with that. So hopefully they're going to fix that. And tomorrow we're going all in the same time. There we go. Any question before I start on everything I just said? So let's get in. You know to use the hands up. If you have a question, you can also use that inside the Zoom. Okay, Let's share this page here, my class note. We put that inside the chat so you can follow. So these are the class notes I'm going to update. Not everything here, but everything you're going to get here, you can jump into all those. So let's get here. Crafting your memoir with Sudowrite. So writing a memoir with Sudowrite can be enriching and efficient process. The AI can help you generate idea, structure your story, enhance description, and refine your voice. Talking of voice, the Sudowrite do have my voice. It's another little program that is coming up very soon that you can bring your own writing inside of it and is going to find your voice and write the same way than you do. As we are talking about my voice, when you have something written and as your memoir or someone else's memoir that you actually took notes from them, you know how they talk, how they want their story to be told inside the book. In Story Bible, you can go under style. When you go under style, you go here and you can say, please match my style. Everyone knows this match my style. That sounds like you. Basically, you come in here and you pass 2,000 words of your own writing. And this is how you can get your style inside Sudowrite for the book you are writing about. So this is one very important part when you're writing a memoir on how to get my style to match your voice. Soon my voice will be available for everyone, but it's not there today. Let's go back up. So define the memoir and the focus. So a memoir is not an autobiography. They focus on specific theme, events, or personal transformation. So before we dive into the writing, we have to decide, what story do you want to tell? Is it overcoming adversity, love and loss, career and journey? Who's your audience? Is it general reader, family, or a niche group? So these are very important questions. So any of you are in the process of writing a memoir and have the answer that they want about who's your audience is. Anyone? You can put in the chat or you can unmute and say, yes, I do, or no, you're not there yet. All right, so Mikash says, yes, I do. So who's the audience? Wide audience. Perfect. So general reader. That's great. Love it. So for me, there is a few, which the one for my grandfather that I worked last year on was the did for my family. And the one I'm working on is going to be possibly general reader or a special niche for traveler. Next, what do you have? Spiritual inquirer. It's about a holy man. Nice. So it's basically that you are in a niche right now. That's great. That's very important to know because that changed the way you're going to write the story. Perfect. All right. The emotion that you want to evoke. When we write a memoir, is normally there is a special reason for it. Is it for inspiration? Is it nostalgia? Is it humor? What's the emotion that you want to send out? Perfect. That's great. I love it when people are going in. Perfect. I love that. Great. So what we can do with Sudowrite. Now we have our memoir, we know our audience, we know what we are which emotion we want to evoke and what it is about. So once we get to this, we're going to say, okay, now we have to brainstorm that memoir. So how do we do that? We can do that inside Sudowrite We can do that inside ChatGPT. We can do that on paper or on a Word document or page, wherever you want to start writing your information. One thing that I am doing a lot is I'm having a little recorder, and it's called a plod, or even a recorder on your cell phone now that you can actually record. Everything goes into MP3, get transcribed. You can bring it inside ChatGPT and says, hey, this is all my babbling about the bio or the memoir I'm writing. Can you help me out? And ChatGPT is extremely helpful these days. It's having a serious leap in the future since last year. When you put the memoir last year inside ChatGPT, you could not have as much detail as you have now. So I use ChatGPT with all my babbling that I do. And by the way, we have that too on Sudowrite. Is it open to everyone? No, it's still on beta. But Sudowrite on your cell phone, very, very soon you'll be able to talk. And Sudowrite will take all your notes as you go, and you can enter it inside Sudowrite. So it's coming up too. So just a small bonus for you guys to know in advance. All right. So our memoir. Opening scene. How do we do a memoir? How do we get people to buy our books? Very important to know how you want to open your first page on what to hook your reader. So what moment or memory will hook the reader? That's an important part. Anyone has something in mind for their books? We have a couple of people which are in the spirituality. So your first page, your hook, basically your first paragraph, is it really hooking people that they're going to say, oh my God, I like that, and I'm going to read the book? One thing very important right there. What in your memoir is going to be your turning point? So highlight 5 to 7 pivotal moments in the journey of the person, yours or the person you're writing about. Is it going to be a climax, emotional peak? What is the most profound memory in that story? And then a very good ending. Is there a resolution, a lesson, a transformation? Do you want to leave the reader with? And that's one thing that I do a lot, even in my kids' story. There is a lesson and they end up with a cliffhanger, sometimes for a follow-up story. But there's always something at the end of all my story for children where there is a lesson or a small thing that make them think that things are very, very, they finish on a good note. Unless they finish and says, we're going to follow up onto the next book, but I never leave my children with a bad ending. They always go to bed happy. So same thing with the memoir, unless a person died, but normally, I don't know, a lot of memoir that it's finished badly. I haven't checked that. But I know the most of memoir that I'm writing, they have a good ending and there is a lesson to get from it. Next, start writing with the AI assistants. Exactly, Jess. Yes, she says that. I love that about the ending. It's important to check in with the reader experience too. Exactly, you're right. So once you have your alpha reader and your beta reader that can read your story, try to catch these information from them. And just a point on that, I'm a publisher, I'm an editor and a teacher and a writer and everything. But one thing that I know, when we write a book, do not, we always say, write, just leave the flow of writing going. Then after you finish writing, go and edit. During you're doing your editing, do not do the error to go and send your book out to alpha reader and beta reader. You're going to spend the rest of your days editing because you're going to say, oh, there's an error here, this, and it's a never ending. So I have some of my people that I know which ask me to help them with their books, and that's a small mistake they're doing is that you're going to get overwhelmed, overtired, and very frustrated. So just make sure you do your editing until you're happy with your book, because never forget, it is your book. It is your story that you're writing. It is the lesson that you want to transpire from your writing. So finish your editing until you're very happy with it, that you know your book cover to cover before you send it out to alpha and beta reader. And after that, once you come back with their information, and normally give yourself also a window of time. Do not like say, I'm going to give you 3 months to read the book. Give yourself, like, I would say 2 weeks to 1 month max to get the feedback from them. And then check them all, which one having the same point in common, and go fix those one. If you want to do so, go fix the point which coming back in it. And this way you're going to save yourself a lot of heartache and headache. So that was a small point as we go. All right, so in our Sudowrite, what do we have that can help us when we bring or we write our memoir? We have the describe for sensory details. So if you recall a vivid memory but struggle with description, highlight it and hit the word describe, which right now on mine I have to refresh. That's something I always lose my laser tool on top. Sorry, I have to refresh. All right, where am I here? Open scene, describe. So describe over here when you want to add sensory details. That's the describe here, or if you do the highlight, the describe will show up also. So describe, do not forget, everyone is always worried about their credit, how that work. So one of them is the describe. You always be careful, go onto the arrow and go make sure you turn off a few of these things that you don't want to know about. So if you just want to know about the sight and the sound, just get those two. If not, it's going to give you 2 cards of each and the metaphor. So go toggle on or off, and just the one that you're looking for your story. We don't always want to know how the things smell or taste. Just saving you credit right there for that. Next, use the show not tell. Okay, what do we mean by show not tell? There's nothing up here about show not tell. You do the rewrite. And I have to highlight something. And you go to rewrite, and that's where we see that show not tell. It's on the rewrite, you highlight words, and the show not tell shows up right here. This is what I'm talking about when I say the show not tell. And also the rewrite is the same place. So the right feature with telling and showing. Yeah. So I just told you exactly that. So show not tell. That will instead to have a very small cold description, is going to turn it into more like I'm going to give you an example later. As you can see, I have example here. We're going to go inside that too. So let's see. I'm still nervous because we had that all messed up on the time zone there, so I'm still shaking inside. So I'm going to keep on going on this one. So let's see my example I had here, my voice and my muse. Let's see if I can give you an example right now on what I was talking about. So there we go. This is a memory of my own childhood. And I used a couple of the AI model that we have. This one is written with Muse. And I believe this one was done with Muse Creativity at 500-word memoir, first person POV. And the inner thought or dialogue with yourself. Write with Muse. I have to find the original. That will be my voice. There we go. So my idea was, I'm going to write about a day that I was outside. I was only 4 years old, shoveling snow. So what I did is I wrote simply to the AI. Why? I wonder if the original is here. So here's what I ask. This is the original that says childhood memory. Shoveling snow at the age of 5 with a large scoop, alone during my Mom and my younger brother are warm inside the house. But I need to go outside and do something else. Dad is gone to do surveying work for another 7 days. The driveway is filling up with snow, faster than I can take it. But I want to do like that's my dad, I should have said there, but he's put down my day. Bring enough snow to make a sliding hill in the backyard. What emotion do you want to convey? So here there was some question about what I want to tell the people. So I want to convey that I'm proud for every successful shovel of snow, specific sensory details. You remember, it was cold and the snow is falling in heavy, big snowflake. Cannot see more than 5 meters in front of me. The key conversation or thought process that should be included. 5 years old girl who is taking more responsibility than possible and transform them into a fun activity. So this was all I highlighted. And then I went and clicked show, not tell. This is exactly the example I was looking for. So show, not tell. And here's the result. Bundled up in a puffy red coat and mittens that swallowed my tiny hand, I stood in a driveway, clutching a large, slightly unwieldy snow scoop. My breast puffed out in a little clouds, quickly disappearing into the chill air. The snow fell in thick, fluffy flakes that clung to my eyelash and obscured everything beyond 5 meters. Inside, my mom and baby brother were cozy, but I need to escape the warmth and embark on my own adventure. Dad was away for a week, off on one of his surveying trips, and with each snowfall, the driveway seems to taunt me with its growing blanket of white. I pushed the scoop into the snow, feeling the satisfying resistance as I heaved each load aside. It was a big task for a 5 years old, but I imagine I was like Dad, tackling a mountain of snow to build a grand sliding hill in the backyard. With each successful shovel, I sense a pride swelling up inside of me. I might have been small, but I was determined to make something fun out of this snowy challenge. My cheeks tingle from the cold, my finger growing numb inside the mittens, but I relish each scoop, transforming an overwhelming responsibility into a game only I could win. So this is an example of show, not tell. Sorry, I need to take a small drink. Any question or any observation in that little reading of mine? And this is a true story. This is my story. You can unmute and talk, The question you answer, you were from where? Canada. At the time was in Quebec. Yes, I find that it's maybe more poetic. If I was a 5 years old, I would not be actually talking that way, but I can get it to transform into a 5 years old. Now, that was one of the things that I also asked about my writing here. I think that's the one here. Bundle up inner thought for dialogue with yourself. So the inner thought, which start with bundle. So the inner thought with myself. This bundle up in my oversized puffy red coat and mitten that seems to swallow my tiny hand. I stood defiantly, maybe it's a big word for a 5 years old, in the driveway, gripping a large, slightly overwhelming snow scoop, another word which a 5 years old probably will not use. I watched my breath form little clouds, vanishing quickly into the chill air. The snow fell in thick, fluffy flakes, clinging stubbornly to my eyelash and turning the world beyond 5 meters into a white blur. Inside, Mom and my baby brother were snug and warm. but I need to escape that cozy cocoon and embark on my own little adventure. Dad's away for a week, off on one of his surveying trips, and every snowfall seems like the driveway Da, 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 da. And every snowfall seems like the driveway of challenging me with its ever-growing blankets of white. I push the scoop into the snow, feeling that satisfying resistance as I heave each load aside. This is a big task for a 5 years old, but in my mind, I'm just like Dad, tackling a mountain of snow to craft a grand sliding hill in the backyard. So here by rewriting, I use the rewrite. I did highlight the original one, obviously. And I did go and ask to rewrite as a 5 years old. We cannot see that here. And I think I might have even used the one before. I used the one that Muse gave me, and I highlighted, and I asked to write as a 5-year-old. So basically, what I did is this. When I click the rewrite, I went into the customize, and I said rewrite as a 5 years old girl. And I just said go. And that's how we got this one that is given. And each time you go and ask for the same paragraph, is going to get you something different. So here was a bundle up. It says wrapped up in my big puffy red coat that made me look like a marshmallow, and mittens that were way too big for my little hands. So you see, each time you're going to ask the same question, is going to give you a different answer. So I'm going to put the second or that answer in the bottom here. So the 5 years old. It said use the 5 years old voice. We'll have done the same thing, and this is under the rewrite. Right? Any questions so far? Okay, let's see if I can get that question here. I mean the question you answer for rewrite inner thought. Did the rewrite ask you those? Or no, I'm the one who asked the question to the rewrite because it's my story. And when I look at the way that it's been written, it says, okay, for an adult, it's nice to read, but for someone who's going to read the text, this is not a 5 years old way of talking or thinking. So I just decided to go and says, okay, please change it a bit so it's more like a 5 years old telling her story. So this is where you find your voice when you do a memoir like that. Does that answer your question? Yep. So we have a lot of rewrite because now one thing that I need to make sure I show you guys is once you go inside Sudowrite and you start working, we can go fast inside our writing and get sidetracked. The very, very first thing I normally do is I go in, and that's one thing I have to do again. I have to refresh to get all those little laser tool to show properly. The first one here, the right button. I always go inside my right button and I'm going in my writing setting. And that's where you're going to see in my writing setting, I changed my card to 1. I said I want 500 words at a time. I use Muse and I put down in my key details, I'm writing a memoir at the first person POV. This is the first thing I'm doing. And I put the creativity in the middle because the start of my story is for children. It's a children telling a story, and children has a lot of imagination. So, and I wanted to have the imagination that I had when I was 5 years old to tell the story. you could have choose a different one. It's all totally up to you. You can use the basic if you just want to go and test a few things. But I like to go in mine, they're more expensive, but they give me what I'm looking for. So once you're very comfortable with Sudowrite, you can go in those higher end model and write what you want right away. So it's really, once you know exactly what you want to do, it's going to be very precise to do what you want. So it's great for that. And I've been working for almost 3 years, if it's not 3 years with it, which is great. All right, so if we go back into our class note here, so we don't go too far, we are already 30 minutes in, since so much things to show. Here, I think I did show you a little bit how to show some emotion on how to rewrite things. So highlight a moment that you want to talk about inside Sudowrite, so make it more emotional or for deeper resonance. Again, laser tools to write that, to help you edit what you have. And most of you already have something written if you're writing a memoir. Tomorrow, when we're going to work with a research that I've done, and if you can see in the bottom here, tomorrow we're going to talk about the king. So we're going to do memoir of the king. So I will show you how to bring your information, all the research you're doing on the king. You'll have access to it tomorrow too. It's not inside our class note today, but tomorrow you're going to have access to my research on the king. And we're going to work his memoir tomorrow and go through everything that we can in the next 2 days to maybe have a book to publish on the king. Sounds good? All right. Any questions so far? Okay. Next, add reflection and meaning. Memoir. Go beyond the storytelling. They include personal reflection and lesson that the person or yourself has learned. So use Sudowrite to help you frame those events by asking it to generate insight or compare different perspectives. Experience with twists, feature, or interpret the past even from the wizard. Now, these were useful in the past, and now I believe they told us that these are going away. If I'm not wrong, you can find the twist under the plugin here. So the plugin is the last laser tool. You have twist, poem, visualize, and feedbacks. So I was talking about the twist. So if you want to add some twist to a story, by example, just for the fun of it, let's see if we can see what that will look like. We're going to use little 5 years old of me with the inner thought. I'm going to bring, I don't know if I can bring everything, but copy this and we're going to go into that twist. What's the twist we'll do here? So is it a science fiction? No. Is it a fantasy? No. I would put it more like under the literary, right? We pass our information. So it says twist help you take your story into an unexpected direction. Maybe not exactly what we're looking for what we were going. Select the genre, type a few sentences, the story to provide. All right, so literature is the only thing they give us. That's probably why they're going to take it away. Let's see what is going to give us as literature, because it's not any of the two there. Let's see what it's going to give us, if it makes sense. So literally, as a finally, oh, okay, hold on. Just doing this with successful shoveling, I feel like a pride inside of me, sure. As I finally finish shoveling the entire driveway all by myself, I hear a strange noise coming from behind me. I turn around to see my dad, and that makes no sense. So definitely we'll have to, he's giving you a big twist. Interesting. Okay, you can use it if you want. No problem. Let's see if I can copy this. So it's going to go inside by itself. Select all. Hopefully it's going to go in. Let's go back. Should go in and so inside my card. Yeah, right here. So that can give you an idea on how to fix things for the future if you want to add something to your story. How many of these they gave me? Twist 1, twist 2, twist 3. It's giving me a few. Ouch, a lot. He went to every paragraph that I give and did 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Give me quite a bit of cards here. Let's see how much that costs. So twist costs 1,310 to give me more idea if I want to add things to that story. And under littéraire, so I will have to go and read every single one of them to see if that makes sense for going after I finish that shoveling, which I know exactly what happened after. But yeah, that would be more. I proudly survey my clear driveway, a car pull up, and a tall figure puff. No, that's not good. No, don't like it. So don't use that twist. Let's get this off here. That's not working for this. Now what will work for this, it's the chat. And that's what I normally use. Story Bible, where's that twist? Brainstorm, Memoir, focus, emotion, make it, Sudowrite help, edit, rewrite, shorten. I will go and fix it later. What I would do to get more to my story, if it was all written, I will go and use, and I'm going to go in my example here. I will go in the bottom, and I will say here, my favorite one is quick edit. And that's probably why they say they're going to remove the twist, because we can use quick edit to fix it. So here we have the little Manon who is doing the shovel, bravely eyelash, snuggle in place for an adventure. We can ask ChatGPT what we can write after, or what the little 5 years old will do after the shoveling. Or we do a quick edit and we tell exactly what's happening after the shoveling. And here she's doing the adventure. So after I am done with after I am done with my shoveling, I will slide in, how are we going to say that in on. So yeah, let's see what is going to do with the quick edit and that. Don't forget you also have the one you can pay for. Right now is on the free one. So what will happen? So after I finish my shoveling duty, I regularly eyed a small hill nearby. The vibrant red of my nose, my oversized coat enveloped me like a protecting shield against the winter chill. While my hands barely visible beneath a large mitten, grasped the snow scoop with determination. Each exhale, create a fleet of cloud in the frosty air. Delicate snowflake dance into my eyelashes, kind of repeating what I said with my big red jacket and all. But it's one way that you can use the ChatGPT. So reject the ChatGPT or the quick edit on how to do things. I like to use the quick chat a lot. I'm getting into the rabbit hole. So let's go back into the class here. But that's a way to go and work for free. So these don't cost any credit. Next, where are we here? Already at 40. Too fast, too fast, too fast. Too slow, too fast. So we have our audience create ending. Describe, show, not tell, expand with emotion. And that's where we said emotion was that twist. Twist here is going to be, it's not the twist, it's going to be the chat feature to reinterpret past event from a wiser and present day itself. That make more sense. All right, next, Edit and refine your voice. I showed you earlier on how to get your voice inside the Story Bible under the style over here. We'll work on that tomorrow, make it a lot more visible to everyone. So your memoir has to sound like you, not an AI-generated essay. So use the rewrite. You can shorten some writing, or you can extend your writing. Again, this is under the rewrite, and we have to get something. Rephrase, shorter, more descriptive, more inner conflict, more intense, or customize. So read out loud. Sudowrite has a text to, no, that's not, I don't think they have that, but most of us have access to the, under the Chrome, there is a service that read for you, or you have Speechify or some kind of AI that can actually show how to listen to what is written or read yourself out loud. After a whole day or a week of reading, most of us have our dry lips and it's very hard to read out loud. Next, I already talked about the beta feedback, how to deal with that. Then after that, we'll talk a bit about the publish and the share. I will not stay on this one today, actually today, because at 6 o'clock tonight, Toronto time, I have a session with authors where we do talk about self-publishing, agent, expert into how to deal with your books once it's written. And I strongly suggest you come in tonight for that. So this is the author hours tonight. After this class, we have Christina, but tonight we have Storyteller Spotlight with me and William Allen, where we'll talk about all that. So don't miss that one tonight. Let's go back in. Create the Sudowrite marketing. That's what we're going to talk about. Sudowrite Memoir prompt template. Okay. I also give you templates, and I give you also how to work with an outline. I did go and make a lot of search on a few things. So see here, a scene generation, personal memory expansions. So use the generate a detailed scene from a memory and a prompt. So you remember that I was talking about me with the snow and all that. So you can prompt inside Sudowrite, inside that this guy here, the quick edit. You can copy this inside that paragraph that you want to do and ask information on how you want to write. So write at the first person immersive scene about, describe the memory, and then include sensory detail like sound, smell, taste, and touch. You can go with the free tool we have, or you can go and that describe one. It's totally up to you on that one. So an example here, so at the first person immersive scene about the first time I saw my newborn child. Describe the hospital room, the beeping machine, the warmth of my baby's skin, and the overwhelming mix of joy and fear. Show my emotion through my body language, through thought and reaction. So these are things you can use when you do a memoir on someone who have a baby in the hospital, by example. So this is an example you can work with. So it's depending on what you're writing about, that just giving you a small idea on how to work things. Now, if you want to go and deepen the emotion of that story, so the reflection and the lesson that we learn. Yeah, hold on, I'm going to show that again. Just answering one question here. It's, yeah, it show 5 p.m. It's at my time, it's 6 p.m. This is that's still mixed up. So for me, it's 6 p.m. I don't know what to do anymore for changing these things to stay at the right time. But it's not at 5 p.m. that the class is tonight. For me, it's 6 and I'm in Toronto time. So go and double check on inside. And the best way to know about the class tonight is actually right now, it's going to be inside Discord. I'm sorry, that's another sidetracked here. I'm going to go in Discord. event series memoir, which is now plugging, and then you see here 6 p.m. This is the right time inside Discord, but it's not inside Luma. So go inside your Discord to find the right time for the events. This is the right time right here. They are working on it. I hope it's going to be fixed. Let's go back to the class. I got to get this off. All right. Emotional dependence. So use this to add introspective into your past experience prompt. So take the memory off, describe the event, and write it in a reflective passage about it from my present day perspective. Yeah, I know they say EDT, but it's not EDT. There's something going on with the time zone inside Luma, and I don't know how to fix it. And I already told them to get it fixed. So EDT is standard East Standard Time, but it's not the right time. An hour later, like today. Today the class was showing 1 p.m., but the class was at 2 p.m. So log in 1 hour later, or really go into Discord and look at the time in Discord for the time tonight. Where are you exactly? Robert? California. So you're 3 hours away. So if it's 6, that would be 3 o'clock for you, if I'm not wrong. Right? Okay. Back in the class. Okay, so we do take our little memory and we're going to add introspective and that. So here is the example. So take the memory of losing my first job and write a reflective passage about it from my present day perspective. What did I learn about resilience? How did I shape my future? How would I comfort my younger self who was experiencing this loss? So this is an example, sorry, going to drink again. This is a way to work a memory that you have. And that's also something in the paperwork that I gave you on how to write, like basically write a letter to your younger self. It looks like that here. So you can put that into your memoir also. These are examples on how to develop your memoir or someone else's memoir. So next, dialogue and conversation. This is a biggie one inside memoir. How we get someone voice, someone the way they talk. In my case, when I was writing the book for my grandfather, it was like the French from north of Quebec in the time of 1920. And I had to tell the AI, listen, I wasn't there, but I know my grandfather is talking like this. And I give example. And I made sure inside my story Bible and in my world building that I made sure that they knew the AI and Sudowrite 1920 French Québécois north of Quebec. I even give them the city in question to give me how they were talking at the time. And then again, I wasn't there. So I had to send some of those chapter to my family and my dad. And I said, can you please tell me if that sounds like your uncle or your father? And they says, okay, my uncle was talking like that. It's similar to that, but you should add this or remove this, and getting the whole thing tweaked properly. And then I got pretty much on target. Obviously, after everything was written and done, they read everything and it says, okay, change this, this, this. And it was just a few small editing through the book, but we pretty much hit the target of how they were talking in those days. One thing that I remember I had to do very, very carefully is how the woman was talking. So even to that precision, men talk one way in 1920, the women were talking a different way. Women today don't talk the same way that they were talking in those days. So I had to put down talk with the era of the time for each sex. And I'm not sexist, but that's how I had to do it, to make sure that the woman doesn't say, so I'm going to take the axe and I'm going to go and cut the wood. Well, that wasn't happening in those days. The man was going to cut the wood, and the woman was in the kitchen cooking and taking care of the children, etc. So at some point I was writing the story, which I had like 45 pages of my grandfather story already written. And I asked the AI to add conversation and more details like the lake and all these names and things that was missing from the manuscript. And then at some point, the mother of my grandfather was saying, okay, let's take the axe and keep on taking the stump off. I said, well, okay, I don't think the woman was taking the axe in those days. And I ask again, he says, no, no, no. They were maybe helping with the horse, things like that, or a few things, but they were more like make sure that their men had their food and the boys were working with their father on doing the removing the stump and all that. The woman was taking care, make sure of the clothes and everything else. So these are very precise inside your memoir on how the person is talking, if you have the right way of the conversation for that specific era. So it's you have to go deep. And again, with our nice character box we have now, you can go in, you can fix that. When you get to the character box, and that it's something that I will show you also, but I'm going to make a turnaround here. Once we're going to bring a project inside Sudowrite for doing a memoir, we're going to go first inside a project and customize our character for the era of the story. So tomorrow when we go and work for Elvis Presley, we're going to go and customize our character box. And we're going to ask a few things, that what the role in the plot and the genre. We probably don't need the sign, but maybe we'll do, and we can double check the AI if you understand we're talking about Elvis Presley, if he has the right sign. But we're going to go see here unique dialogue style in public, between friends, and in privacy. This is the important part when you do write a book or a memoir and things like that, to have the right dialogue style. So this is going to be important to be there. Tomorrow we won't need the species. They're all human. So these we can simply just remove. The archetype might be a good secret, a good thing to have for our memoir. Any secret. Not sure if we're going to need secret, but that might be interesting. He might actually find secret from Elvis Presley. We don't know. So we can leave it there. Relationship and compatibility and dynamic. We can probably change that. So tomorrow, when we do our class, I will come back with a customized character box that we're going to fix together, that will fix and work with the story that we want to write about Elvis Presley as writing his memoir. And we're going to fix that before we import his story inside Sudowrite. And I'm going to show you exactly why I'm saying that. The story of Elvis. Got to get out of here. The story of Elvis Presley, the basic story without changing anything. So we have the whole story of Elvis, but if you go in here in the character, it's giving us Elvis, the king, is tall, athletic, structure, blah, 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 Capricorn. Is he really Capricorn? If anyone knows his precise date of birth, we're going to figure that one out. His language, English, is trained, musical, versatile, da, da, da. The goal, unique character, lips curled, yeah, distinctive speaking voice, love of exotic food. The mood, depression in later year. So you see what I mean when you have your character box properly written in advance with everything that you're looking for, is going to give you this information. And here, starting the character limit in public. In public, he must maintain an image as the king. When he's with friend, he's expected to be generous benefactor. In private, trapped by fame and expectation. So we have some interesting information about Elvis by not changing the character box. Tomorrow I will just show you how to change the character box, and I'm going to also do a few more research on the date to make sure that to see when she was born and her zodiac sign. But we're going to go through all that. And what I like about this, as we bring the information of Elvis Presley, he's telling me this is a biography, nonfiction, music, history, da 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 da, memoir. So for me, I will probably come back in and probably delete biography because I want to work on his memoir and put the memoir at the first place and remove the biography from there and fix up. Not, we don't need all that information in a genre. And then we also have our synopsis. So it's going to be filled with a lot of information tomorrow. Like I said, it's a big class of 3 days with tons of information. So I'm going to put the note inside the, yeah, the do copy. I will put it inside the chat. So you can all look at all the information we talk about and some that I don't have time because we're almost on the hour and I don't want to go too much over because we have another class in another hour. This was supposed to be another class. So any question that I can answer, go back on things that I tried to show you as much as I could here. You can unmute, we can talk. Tell me on what you're working, what you're looking for, things that you want to make sure that I bring up tomorrow that we can go through so you have a good idea on how you want to write your story. Okay. When writing the memoir, did the feature add facts that didn't actually happen? The fact that I brought the information myself inside of it, and when I do that is basically I go into a Word document, I put all my information on the memoir I'm working on. I didn't see a lot of things sidetrack. In the start, when they start doing the information, the world building and the character, sometimes the AI went off rail. And then what I did is I just go and said that character doesn't exist, delete, 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 or don't use. So far is doing pretty good, but you have to double check everything because you are writing about something important. Yeah, you're right, Dan. The red puffy jacket in the original wasn't there. I don't know how the AI knew, but I did have a red suit. I have a picture of it also. Maybe I put it somewhere. I don't remember if I did, but he was on target on that one. So what he did, a little girl in those days loved red, so he probably just used the red for that. And yes, in the north with snowflake and all that, we look like puffy Michelin tires with our suit on. And when you're like the little 5-year-old, like no higher than 3 apples, that we look puffy in the red jacket with normally we have a bit of fur around our head and big mittens and things and the scarf. So that the AI was on target on that one. So what's the next question here? For example, see the red puffy, so it got on target. It wasn't included anywhere that I recall because it was just a small paragraph, but we can double check here because that's been a little bit, that's a time ago that I write that. So shoveling large scoop, and that will be in my original one. Bundle up, no, that's the second one I did. Inner thought, write the bundle oversized, so that's here. Child memory, shoveling, snow age 5, scoop alone, mom, driveway. No, I don't say anything about my jacket inside that little questioning I have with the AI. But he did basically go over and says, okay, she has to have something on, and a red jacket is a good color. So if I was in the right color, I would have gone in and says, no, I was not in red, I was in blue. But he was on target on that one. I was really in a red suit. So include some other text provided. Was it include? No, for that's the little paragraph that you see there is what I wrote down. And then he just decided to rewrite. In one of the rewrite, he put a red coat that made me look like a marshmallow. So that's the last one that he did. So the original one will be more on top. So shoveling, large scoop during a younger age. And as you can see, there is no, that was just this. That was the little paragraph that I give the AI to work with. And he did a pretty good job. Next question here. If you are writing a memoir for other people, do you use an interview template to capture their facts? That's also tomorrow. And if you go inside the document I gave you today, here, you're going to find the outline. So I have two outlines that I'm using in the memoir writing process. I have so much things I have a chance to show you today, and we already passed the hour. But go and read a few things. I asked a few questions with ChatGPT and brought them in on how to work with Sudowrite and doing information. I also asked which AI is best to write or help me write a memoir. And this is what the answer is giving me about that. ChatGPT 4, especially Turbo via ChatGPT Plus, best for brainstorming, structuring, revising, emotional resonance, and thematic guidance because it stays more on target. And what the surprise after that, he says Sudowrite is best for deep creativity exploration, first draft emotional memory, and rewriting. So even ChatGPT told me that himself, ChatGPT is good for memoir, and the second one is giving me Sudowrite to write memoir. So that's not too bad on that at all, because basically this is everything I just told you about. And in third place, it tell me it's Claude Anthropic, which actually also help, and it's giving you why it's best on what. And after that, there is honorable mention, Notion AI, Scrivener, AI plugin, Google Gemini. Google Gemini, the deep research is fantastic, by the way. If you're doing someone which is known out there, Google Gemini deep research is beautiful to give you information. And I will also add that into the Elvis Presley. I believe I did both ChatGPT deep research and Gemini deep research for my story about Elvis Presley tomorrow. Next. And after that, we're going to memoir process. So story Bible, brainstorming. So we're going to go through all that tomorrow. And then you got the outline. I give you a lot of things to read. That one is okay. Oh, took a while to upload. Sorry about that. So this is an outline reflection. I will talk to you about that tomorrow. The Memoir and the Sun Memoir outline style. There's different style for writing memoir. All right. Next, quick chat. Thank you. Including information. Always online looking for fact for historical person, even ask it to, but then sometime it does looking forward to hearing about tomorrow. Yes. Usually do a lot of research, so I'm confident of that. All right. So for the one who's leaving, thank you so much for being with me today. Sorry for the time zone mix-up. Hopefully you'll come to tonight to our little meeting with Bill to learn a bit more. And tomorrow we'll go deep inside and putting that memoir of Elvis Presley together and learn a lot more. So thank you again for being with me today. You'll get a little email on top of the hour so you can put down your feedback. I'm going to keep going with the question. Thank you for the workshop. I will be cover and remaining session for the memoir writing series. Yeah, that's a 3-day class done. It's 3 days. So today was the starting of learning a bit on all the buttons we're going to be using. And tomorrow we're going to show you how to bring the information in, how to work the character, the voice, the dialogue, and the outline. And the 3rd day, we're going to start writing, editing, and all that stuff. So you have a very good base to write memoir in the future. You're welcome, Robert. Looking forward for tomorrow too. Perfect. If there's anything else, any more question for today on what we cover, which is just a glimpse of what you can do when you write memoir. It's the fact that Sudowrite is so big into writing, and there's so many ways to do it. Hopefully I see you tonight, Mika. On that, I will stop the recording. So if you want to chat with me a little bit without the recording, we can do that. So thank you again. My name is Manon Doucet, and I'm looking forward to see you tomorrow.
Oh, hear the whispers of the wind so free through the leaves of the ancient tree, guiding hearts with a gentle plea. To the brave and bold, come follow me. With a sigh and a breeze, the wind does sing. Secrets of courage it will bring. Through the forests and the night, it leads the heroes with its light. Over hills and valleys wide, the wind will be your faithful guide. Through shadows deep where fears reside, with the wind, let your spirit glide. With a sigh and a breeze, the wind does sing. Secrets of courage it will bring. Through the forests and the night, it leads the heroes with its light. Listen close, oh valiant heart. The wind's song is where you start. In its melody you'll find your part. A path through darkness, a hero's chart. To the cave of shadows you must go, where the winds of courage always blow. With every step let your valor grow. Follow the song and light will show. With a sigh and a breeze, the wind does sing. Secrets of courage it will bring. Through the forests and the night, it leads the heroes with its light. So heed the wind's enchanting song. With its guidance you'll be strong. For in its tune you'll find